Well, New York Senator Schumer calls our next guest a shakedown artist for pulling $400 million in legal settlements from major banks for patent infringement. But our next guest says he is fighting for the little guy and their right to compete with the big boys. Claudio Ballard is CEO of DataTreasury, and his patent fight against the banks has moved to Congress. He joins us now from Miami. Well, Claudio, good for you for having the nerve to go up against these big guys. Tell us, first of all, what you invented and what happened after you invented it.
Well, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity. What I invented was a system that was inspired by when, unfortunately, my mom had passed away in '94. My dad and I were having dinner, and as I watched him sign a credit card receipt, I said to myself, what does that store owner do with that little receipt of paper? And then it occurred to me, if you could capture that piece of paper, whether it's a credit card receipt or a check or any other kind of document of that nature, this could become the basis of what is now known as the paperless banking systems. And that's basically what I developed.
Well, it's a great
comprehensive solution.
It's a great idea. Of course, it's been the ideal of banks for a long time. You went to the banks. They kind of liked the idea, but then something happened that turned them off to you, right?
Well, yeah, they loved the idea. In fact, they said we not only are interested in using our system, we're interested in joint venturing, even investing in your company. So then they said, well, can we come out and see your facility? Now, at that point in time, I was still working out of my house, and I said so. And they laughed at me, literally, and said, well, I'll tell you what, don't call us, we'll call you.
Well, he who laughs last. I mean, the point is they regretted that because eventually, to make a long story short, we got to move it along, you sued them because they started to use a device or a method that you had developed, and you got over $400 million from them, right?
Yeah, well, look, just to be clear, I'm a scientist, a computer scientist. I've been in the computer industry about 35 years. So I knew how to develop these large-scale systems. When I showed them our patents through non-disclosure, in effect, I gave them the blueprint on how to solve this problem and make it work. They loved it so much, they decided, hey, you know what? Instead of paying this guy, let's just do this ourselves. Now, meantime, I had raised capital once my patents were issued. At one point in the summer of 2000, we had over 100 employees, and we have a world-class facility to do the business. But the banking industry systematically locked me out of all the business.
Okay, and you got a lot of money. They had to pay a lot in legal fees, but Senator Schumer now wants to take that money back. Of course, he represents a lot of banks. They're his constituents, so he's working on behalf of his constituents. But where do you go now? I mean, is it conceivable that Senator Schumer, working on behalf of those big banks, can reach in and take that $400 million away from you?
Look, anything is possible. You know, we fought the banks fair and square. We went through the courts. We went through the U.S. Patent Office re-examination. We even went through a trial and we won. So we did everything by the book. So it seems to me the banks decided, you know what, the big bad banks need one big bailout. So since we can't beat this guy fair and square, let's go to the Congress and see if we can buy ourselves some legislation. That's where it's at right now.
Yeah, by the way, $400 million is a very sweet deal. On the other hand, you loved your business. You had a lot of employees working for you. Did all those employees lose their job?
Unfortunately, they did. We have over 1,000 shareholders. These are people that believed in me, believed in the company, believed in the American dream. The only thing left for me to do was try to recover some of what I thought I was owed for my shareholders. And that's what I've been fighting for the past 10 years.
It's a great story. We love it when the little guys win against the big guys. Claudio Ballard, good to see you, Claudio. Thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.